Hello everybody, welcome to a unboxing video here of Cobalt Geist. So as you see here, we got the wondrous Cobalt Geist. And this is a DHP system B-Daman. For those who don't know, DHP would be a manga-only system for Battle B-Daman. When Battle B-Daman first started, it had this whole little system here. And as you see, there's Andrew's manga art right there. But let's talk about the manga system real quickly, because we actually have one of the wonderful manga system characters right here, and his evolution. So when manga system first started up, you had Cobalt Sword here, and he'd be the start of the franchise. Now, for those who don't know, Cobalt Sword would later on evolve into Cobalt Blade. And this is probably the one you are more recognizable with. This is the one that would be appearing in the anime. So with Cobalt Blade here, he had the more standardized body, and of course the DHP whole gimmick would be a little bit more put to the side, but still have its whole like armor system, attachments, and stuff like that. So the idea of this system was for it to be a bit more customizable compared to the original DHP system, which wasn't as customizable. But it is still cool to see how the start of a system would work out. So this is the start of the Battle B-Daman line. And of course, in the manga, it made a bit more sense for Cobalt Geist, because, as you see here, Andrew wields Cobalt Geist, and his brother, Cobalt Sword, would be put to would be the nice little competitor to it. And of course, in the anime, they also mentioned the whole brotherhood of each one of them, but of course, it doesn't make sense by that point, because when you see Andrew's B-Daman, it is Shred, or Bloody Kaiser. In the manga, he would upgrade it again to Shred Kaiser, but as you see there, it does show how Cobalt Geist would later on become Shred Kaiser. This is actually the final release of the DHP system, so that does mean the one before it came out first, and then the evolution was already out, but very cool little difference here. It shows all the little gimmicks and everything, got all the cool little accessories, got a bunch of the grips and everything. It is cool how this is sort of colorized to Cobalt Geist. And of course, we got more of it talking about the DHP system stuff, which I do have one boxed as well, so we'll do that review at another later point. But let's get to the unboxing of this wonderful little dude here. So I'm going to open it up from the bottom, because as you can clearly tell, this box isn't in the greatest of shape. This is actually a really rare B-Daman, so it is very interesting to have a boxed example. These are very uncommon, because this came out, like, at the very tail end. And, of course, when this came out, most people were already moving towards the next evolution of the system. So, it's very interesting to see all this. Of course, we're going to pull all this out. And that's everything that drops out. Put this to the side. Gently place the box down, because I know I never usually do that. I usually throw the boxes half of the time, but let's look into what everything we got here. So we got the baggie that's filled with the instructions, all the clear bits and pieces, a marble, a little rubber strip, and of course the stickers, which I won't be applying in this video, or ever usually. I'll be doing a scan of them, and then making a duplicate to put on these guys. I need to figure out a way to share my scans at some point. I also need to get a new scanner, so this will be put to the side in general for a while right now. I will take out the instructions, though, and look upon them, and then come back for building. Now, of course, we got the whole DHP core part here. These two parts would come together, and you can see the start of the whole DHP little concept, which is really cool. Moving this to the side real quickly to talk about all the bits and pieces. And, of course, since this is an older B-Daman, it basically follows the whole Gundam stylings, where you have to pop out each of these parts. I'm not going to do that on camera, because, my god, that'd be boring to watch me pop out every one of these little parts here. But as you see there, another interesting part of this is these use screws, which if you ever paid attention to the end of Super B-Daman, a lot of the Super B-Daman would later on use these little plastic screw concepts. And the concept with this is you'd take the little screw that comes, the screwdriver that would come with this set, which is right here, and you would screw them all in. I don't usually pop these out. I have a spare one head put to the side currently, so I'll be getting out my spare one. So, pretty cool little stuff. And I'll pop all these out in a little bit. This is a bit dirty as well, so But everything is here by the looks of it. We do have both of our springs, and everything is pretty nicely connected on there. So we will basically go unclip all these, and I'll be back in a minute. So it is cool to look at this. And by the way, anyone who does ask for scans, I will get to them at some point. I do need to get a new scanning machine. If anyone has recommendations on that, please tell me down below. I'm working on a Mac system, so anyone who knows a good scanner for Macs or Android phones, please tell me. I will do those scans at some point. If not, I'll be Googling a good scanner. So just tell me if you have any recommendations or anything. I will get the scans out to y'all at some point. So just be a little bit patient. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to take out all this fun stuff. And see ya. Well, not see ya, but I'll be back in a second. Woo! Hello, everybody. We're now in the build part of this whole video, and I will start showing off this fun. So, first off, we got some stickers here. Pretty cool little thing. I will be scanning these stickers in, so just wait a bit. Like I said before, if anyone has a good little recommendation for Mac devices on scanning stuff, please give me some good recommendations on scanners. So, once I get a scanner in, I will scan these up and put them on the internet. So, just have to wait a bit. Sorry about that, y'all. Next up, we have some clear parts here that were also in that little baggie. So, as you see there, clear DHB shield and a clear little set for his eyes. Got one standard B-Daman. And of course, we'll put that B-Daman right back there. And of course, we got the instruction manual here, which you'll be watching me build this slowly over the course of the video, except for some of the beginning steps, because I did some of those earlier, because I messed up on video recording. But here we go. It shows the whole little how to set up for a game with DHB, where to get the DHB accessories, because you do actually have to buy the whole DHB stuff separately, and a cool little game you can try out with a non-DHB type, which is like the basic hockey game. So I do actually have a hockey puck thing that they did release over time. This just shows a bottle cap, but over time in the series of B-Daman, they did actually release a whole spinning portion of it. And it just explains the basics of B-Daman. But you'll watch me build the rest of it real quickly. So the parts you won't watch me build is inserting the rubber piece into this little thing here, which all it does is just ask you to insert the rubber. Pretty simple stuff. And then put in the whole hold parts here. And of course the trigger mechanism, which I did record me building, but it wasn't that great of a recording, which is why I'm restarting from basically the secondary part of this. So the concept is you would slide the trigger mechanism into the black part. So when you're doing that is you put the spring into the trigger mechanism first. So you'll put the trigger or the spring into this purple piece, slide the purple piece into this black part, and then you'll grab this circular piece and have to twist it till it clicks into this little spike areas here. Pretty simple stuff. So, but once you build it, very nice trigger. This is a wide trigger pad version, so that is a also nice thing is so you can set your thumbs apart or on it and have that nice power boost as well. I will be using a basic blue screwdriver, by the way. I'm not going to use the black one because who knows what conditions the black one went into, because black plastic is a bit more of a brittle thing, especially on conditions it's been put into, so I don't know the conditions. Overall, this seems a bit durable, but I will still be a worrywart and use one of these guys. So let's get into the rest of the building. So first up, we're going to put the little shooting gauge in there, which this is just meant for the spring mechanism, because there's another spring that goes into here at the end of it. This is mainly meant for the DHB core, so if you have the DHB accessory in there, it'll push this back and knock out the legend stone, which is a really cool little concept. All the pieces were scattered around, because I actually dropped one of these earlier. But we're going to put this little flat bit into this here, rest nicely in there. So, pretty simple. Pretty nice little... Oh. And most of this whole building process here just takes place with gravity, so I'm really sorry about the whole film style of this footage here. But basically we're going to take this clear shield piece and just drop it on him as well. And of course, I have to have my one hand holding all of this together, because this whole building part is pretty fun to deal with. And next up, we have to drop in another little fun piece, which is this, which causes the whole like chain reaction. It's like the mouse trap of everything. Basically, this whole like setup is mousetrap. If anyone's ever had to build one of those, you know the fun of having to watch out and not knock over everything, which is great, because that means everything is just on a close knit of almost being popped out. Now we're going to take out the spring in here. This is a tinier spring. And now we are done with that whole setup here. Now the spring goes into this little setup over here. So you really have to be careful with this one, because the spring is not held by much. And you are basically letting gravity hold the winning field over this whole entire building process. So, and then you have to sandwich everything you just did perfectly without having everything knock over or knock around. So, wish me luck on this. See, did it all? No, it did not. What just came undone? Okay, now this is going to be the scary part, because a spring will unleash if I did not hold this in correctly. What fell out? No! Okay, pausing the video for just a quick second. I am back from doing this, because this whole process is a nightmare to do. So since everything's held in nicely with gravity, it just means you can have some nice silent cursing moments with this build. So, nice part is I have to sit here, jam the spring back in. Watch out for the spring. It does like to shoot out, and if you're living in a world of a mess, then that's never good. Or just in a world where things get eaten up and stuff like that, just make sure you're doing this in a nice confined space, because if you aren't, then your nightmares will be lived, and that spring will have to be hunted down and found. But we got it to a point. So, it's back to trying this little sandwich concept again, which you just have to shove it in. Make sure everything's in very nicely, very snugly, because the sandwiching part is a actual problem child. See if I can get the actual sandwich to happen. No! The spring just flew again. Let's go find the spring! I'll be back again. For this next jump cut, I'm just going to have this fully assembled, by the way. Yay! I'm back from the nightmare process. I know. I've only lost 20 years off my life of sandwiching these two pieces together. And by the way, this is probably the main reason why this system got overhauled very much with the 0-1 line. Because this whole core process, I could not see a little child building. But it is there, as you see. Everything is set. It looks like something you'd probably see in Fallout. But as you see, pretty cool looking, and I like the cool design of it. It may make you lose so many years off your life, but you can see the whole gimmick and everything to it. So, pretty cool. So let's start adding some of the other pieces to this. So let's get into that. So first up is we have some security little bits here. Bits and bobs. So here we go. This will pretty much just hold it in more, because you do not want to have to go through the whole reassembly process of this core little area. And they know that, so they added little things to secure it down, which should probably show how much of a fun process this is to actually do. So there we go. We got our two little core things in. Is that the right core thing? Ooh. Grabbing the instruction sheet. Actually, the instruction sheet's not going to help me with this process. Let's just make sure. Nope, I just put the wrong one on there. That's great. But this will come off pretty easily, thankfully, because I have nails. I'm so glad I didn't chop off my nails for this video. But there we go. Have another little purple bob here. It's a little slanted slope thing. And of course we got this little black piece in here, which also fits in very nicely. Got everything in. Got everything up. Making sure I did not make any more mistakes before continuing onwards with pieces that all look the same. So now let's get to the fun, which is now just putting on arms, I think. Arms and legs. And the spring mechanism. Yep, that is actually what the next part is requiring me to do. So let's get to this whole little fun here. So we will first put in the spring mechanism, because why not? So the whole just general concept of this is just slides in, and then you take these little screws, plop them in, and then see if I can find my little screwdriver here. And then you want to take this and just turn it. And there you go. Pretty simple. Ignore the little plastic creaking noises. It does that for each and every one of them. And I'm just going to say, don't forcefully break these parts either. So if you feel like it's not turning anymore, then I'd say end the turn. But there we go. Those two went in really nicely. Now we're going to take some legs. Got some little leg pieces here. And actually, we'll probably do the arms first, because, or is it arms then legs? No, it's legs first. Okay. Well, there is no actual order. It's just usually sake of convenience. So we're going by whatever the sake of convenience is, which is just putting in the legs first. And of course, we gotta put his little hand in. Take another one of them little screws. Actually, is this the right way this goes in? I did not build the Cobalt sword behind me, by the way, y'all, so this is actually my first time dealing with the similar arm structure and everything of those guys. Because I think the other ones had different arms. It's been a while since I've held the other ones. Now, basically just repeat the process. Slap his legs on this side in. Take your other screw, which, take your screw, nope, it has to go in that way. Okay, making sure. See if I can get this one to sit in more properly. That's why they gave you multiple screws to mess with. And grab. Basically, see if I can get it in the little tricky hole. Okay, there we go. Well, I say that, and okay. Having some fun, tricky situations with this one. Oh, I did not mean to click in the one thing. Welp. Good news is I can get that easily out. See if I can turn these things. Jeez. These legs do not like going in sometimes. Had this issue before with one of my guys, so once they're nicely in there, there we go, finally got it in. Let's see. Whoop, 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 whoop. Is the actual mechanism in there? It is not, that's why. Man. People are probably cringing to me while doing this. Okay. Quick little go behind the setup here to make sure I'm actually doing this fully properly. Because, there we go. Drop the screw in. Ooh, this is just a tricky screw. That's weird. Okay, there we go. That screw did not want to go in properly, even though everything was assembled right, so that is one of the fun parts of that, is sometimes the screws just get stuck on stuff. I don't know what. Don't even know what that one was stuck on. It is all assembled properly though, and it is nicely in there. So now we just have to grab the arm, make sure it goes nicely over the hole. Find these screws, because they're just kind of going everywhere currently. Plop it in. Nice little turn. And there we go. Now we can have a nice little base concept of what's going on here. Spring mechanism, feet, legs, all that. So the next part is these pieces that will go over the top and everything. So we will see what all goes over next. I think what goes next is you place this little piece right on the top of this. So plop that down. Make sure I'm going in the right direction with this, because sometimes these are different. And the issue is I want to base them off older ones I've built, but just to make sure, yes, I am going in the right direction with this guy. So just have to tilt this. Did I get it in right? Yeah, there we go. Making sure I have all this in properly. So what you want to do is have this little lip area latch onto this little front lip. Get that all nicely situated. And then once it slides down nicely, just hold it. Find one of your screws, and if you're like me, or if you're better than me, then you probably know where they're all at this moment in time. Take your screwdriver, or whatever the heck you want to call this B-Daman tool. Ooh, I do not like those clicks. Okay. The one thing unlap from the lip area. That's why. Okay. Make sure everything goes in properly. Okay. Yeah, this whole process is a fun one of just hoping things screw in a lot more properly than it. So, which is pretty annoying of a process. Currently we have it that much screwed in. See if I can get it to be... Okay, now it's being a bit forceful there, so I'm not going to force that currently. It is all properly in. Let's see. Try a bit more of a turn mechanism there. Okay, now that is in there for right now. Got it all over the lip and everything, so all nicely in. Now we had to build the whole front shield, which this concept is pretty simple. It's like the original Cobalt blade, if you've ever built one of those. The concept is you just have to sit here and line up all the pieces pretty nicely. See, holding all this to make sure where this all goes. And so you have to line up the pieces. So I'm going to sit there, line it up. Take the other side and line it up. And there we go. Pretty simple. Nice little just sword horn thing. Because you got to keep up with the whole aesthetic of the brotherhood of this and Cobalt sword. So then after this, we're going to plop in the eyes. Checking in on instructions because very important thing to do. Make sure I'm actually holding it in right this time. I'm going to plop in the eyes. And I will say be gentle on transparent plastic parts here. Make sure you are being careful because transparent plastic is a bit of a fun of a nightmare process. Oh. It would be great if I'm actually holding these in the right direction. Try not to be too forceful. Whoop. Okay. Nope. And of course, it doesn't help that the main piece wants to also split on me. Let's see, is that gonna sit in a bit more properly? Okay, take this to the back, use my actual eyesight instead of the camera view. So let's see. Ignore my dog snoring in the background, by the way. Sorry about that. Ooh. Okay, this thing is not like sticking in, does it? Okay. Let's see. Plop this in. Okay. There we go. Got it nicely situated in there. Now the next part is you just kind of want to get it into this little hole area here, which clicked it in earlier by accident, so let's see if I can get it to plop up a bit easier. Okay. And there we go. So all you want to do is take this little hook area from the inside, and it'll basically just, well, probably want to do this like a bit more of a upside down angle type thing. Or use your finger to prop it up. Take the little facial area, and then you just kind of want to shove it in. So from the instruction manual it just says to like sort of angle it upwards, so well, it'd be great if I can stop clicking it into the frontal piece, wouldn't it? So, whoop. It's going to be a really bad unbuild, I know. Our unbuilding video. Because I am trying my best. Issue is I'm trying to be gentle, and, like, that's the main thing. Because a part of me is, like, all anxious about trying to build this in properly. Okay, there we go. Got the nice little frontal piece in. And don't clip it down just fully yet. So, after all that is nice and settled in, you got this all nicely built by the looks of it. Weirdly have a spare black piece here. I don't know if this is just like a reuse mold thing. Let's see, making sure before I push too onwards with this. Making sure I didn't forget any little thing. Don't think I have. Trying to remember where all these little slope pieces go. Reading through the instructions real quickly. Nope, I have... Actually, there's one difference here that I probably should have noticed before. Okay, so it looks like we actually do have some spare pieces in here. So I'm guessing this is like how when you have a IBA body, you are not supposed to have all this in... Oops. Okay, now I'm going to pause the video for a quick second and plop out this piece and plop in the other piece, because my forward mental brain capacity didn't think about them swapping out pieces. This is what happens when you don't read the instructions, kids. Let's see if I can pop... No, okay. I'm going to pause for a quick second. Okay, finally got the dumb piece off, which took a lot more effort, which is probably a good thing to know, that it takes a lot of effort to get the holder piece out of there. So what you actually have to put in is this nice little purple piece. And just plop it in there. Push it down a bit. And there you go. I probably should have noticed this before, because I even looked at the back of the box, but my blind self decided not to pay attention to the little details. There's 2 spare parts in this set, so these 2 spare parts are meant for a standard IBA version of a DHB system, which is pretty cool to have those as like little spare pieces, so that's pretty cool. But I do not need those. Well, hopefully I don't need them. You never know with future builds and stuff like that. So those will be going in a nice special baggie. It did take a lot of effort to get that one piece out though, so make sure you are putting in the right pieces apparently. I'm so caught up with going forward with those things that most of the time that the other standard is way more common. Probably for exact, like as you see here, it is on this guy, on the Cobalt sword, the other piece I just showed. It's also on some of the other ones like Helio Dagger and stuff like that. So if you're very used to building DHB B-Daman, watch out for that while you're building that boy, because he is apparently non-standard, which probably goes great for like the last release. They have nice little different touches of design work. Now that might be different. The Shred Kaiser might have the same little design, little flourishes as well. But that is the end of all this, so we will put in the Legend Stone real quickly. Which, for those who don't know, the Legend Stones are these little pieces here. And the anime, or I mean not anime, the manga, this is where like some of their powers came from and stuff like that. And basically it'd flip out when the little DHB thing got shot. And it was only used for this little system here. I forgot how they work. I forgot how they became merged in the manga. So I need to read back up on the manga again. But you just plop it in. And if you had stickers applied, then it'd have a little decal here. That's actually where these little things come from. These are actually in 0-1 sticker sets as well. You'll actually see these little circle designs and everything. These are in 0-1 as well. I don't know why I repeated myself there. Sorry about that. But you do actually see these designs again in the 0-1 system. They did not forget about this concept. It does actually reappear over time. It's even in the Hasbro versions. But the Legend Stone concept itself would fade away with the DHB system. But here we go. We have the final release of the DHB line. Pretty cool looking design here. And it is pretty cool to have both him and Cobalt sword next to each other. I will actually explain the manga difference, why these two actually do look the same. It is sort of explained in the anime, but the concept in the anime was that this was older and used the 0-1 concept. But in the manga, the Cobalt Geist was built first, and this was Armada's greatest creation. Armada would build this guy, and he was like, look at my beautiful boy. Enju came in and took it away. Now, Armada, fearing the worst, made another one that would also be strong and powerful, and made Cobalt Sword, which would evolve over time. The concept of Cobalt Sword is that he would go pick a worthy owner, and the worthy owner would go out, and he would go out and find this worthy owner, and it would land in the hands of Yamato. A cool little difference with that is they both actually look the same. The anime had a little reference to this with a purple version of Bloody Kaiser, with a purple version of Cobalt Blade's head, which is really cool. But in the manga, they actually did have really same concept and everything, and were also named Cobalt for the beginning part of their names. But of course, Enji would later on change that name to fit more of his own personality style. And hopefully one day we can actually also look on Shred Kaiser as well. But overall, let's get to testing out this wonderful guy. So we will go grab a marble, the little hockey puck thing, and try out their version of the hockey puck game, I guess. So let's pause the video. Let me go grab some setup here, and we'll get ready for this. Alright, we are in a different little camera angle so that you can mainly just see me testing out the whole, like, shooting of him and everything, and testing out the game that was listed in the instruction manual. Sorry about the chair noises. I probably should be standing for this, because this is a different angle for me. I did want to mention one thing, though, is we do actually have a bunch of spare pieces here. So let's get and talk about this real quickly. Now, let's say if you did want to downgrade this guy to a regular core, you can do that easily. They do actually give you some spare parts here for a regular core to match his color scheme a bit better. So we got a little black hold piece, 2 black pieces for standard IBA stuff, and then you do get 2 extra screws. Now the extra screws are for mainly accessorizing the character himself. So for example, let's say if you had a handle add-on, then you can easily put that on there. Or if you had roller add-ons and stuff like that, there's pretty much a lot of things you can put onto this guy, or stabilizers and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of spare pieces. So that is pretty much a whole setup there. Now we will be starting to use this guy. So let's grab the B-Daman. Where do I have the B-Daman in there? I do actually. Okay, so I'm going to tilt him out real quickly. So we're going to take a B-Daman. We're going to slide it in there. And we are going to basically take a shot at this one thing. Now, the cool part is the little sword piece can act as a cool little crosshair. And since it is actually made of plastic, it does actually not bend as badly as the rubber ones do in some of the other one builds. So take a shot. Boop. Got the marble in there. And of course, let's take another shot in there. And he does actually shoot them pretty well, which is very uncommon for a lot of these DHB system ones. This one actually does have a bit of oomph to him. And there we go. We got it on the card. Pretty cool little thing. Now this isn't a review of him yet because I didn't grab out my shot tester and stuff like that. But he is a really cool B-Daman. And this is the first unboxing and building of him on the internet, which is a really cool thing. Now, sorry for the poor quality of this whole video. This is my first attempt at actually building one of these guys in a whole setup here. But I am glad to be the whole first, and I'm glad to be sharing this whole experience with y'all. This is where my namesake would actually come from. As you've heard, my name is Virtual Geist, and Cobalt Geist is what actually gave me the name to be called Geist. So, I have a lot to be thankful for this awesome B-Daman. But that's the end of this video, so thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye!